Bienvenidos a este Masterclass titulado Producción Virtual, el futuro cinematográfico. Esto ha sido traído por Nova. Nova es una compañía que lleva más de 10 años en el mercado. Nova lo que hace es producir contenido a través de Biblias e ideas que se llevan a la formación de Biblias para luego ponerlas en las manos de distribuidores. Tenemos productos que vienen en camino, ciencia ficción en inglés, productos en español para niños, que también van a ser producidos en inglés. Y aparte de eso, lo que hacemos también es fomentar el desarrollo y el talento en Latinoamérica. En esta ocasión tenemos un tema muy importante. El tema está relacionado con Unreal Engine. Si ya eres un texturizador y un modelador, es decir, un 3D animator, entonces Unreal Engine es un paso importante para ti en tu carrera. Esta Masterclass va a ser transmitida en inglés con una presentación en castellano. Y les pedimos que si quieren participar, y a propósito, en todos los eventos que hemos tenido a lo largo de Latinoamérica ha habido bastante participación. Esperamos que esta no sea la ocasión en que no suceda. Entonces, si quieres participar, haz clic en el botón que tienes en la pantalla de abajo que dice Raise Hand y un miembro del equipo te va a dar acceso a que puedas participar. Puedes utilizar también el botón de Q&A para poder escribir tus preguntas. Esas preguntas van a ser contestadas a lo largo de la presentación. Esta presentación va a ser dirigida por Jorge Gaspar, que es de la empresa Atlanta North Studios. Es una empresa de tecnologías e instalación de última generación que da un alto valor a cine y televisión, así como a corporaciones multinacionales. Vamos a pasar este segmento a inglés y luego le vamos a dar las riendas a nuestro invitado especial. Okay, so now we are joined by Stephanie. Stephanie is part of the team of Nova. She works as a 3D digital animation manager. And our guest, Jorge Gaspar, who is a director of Unreal Engine virtual production and 3D design. He's also an Emmy Award-winning artist, and he has worked in several years in animation, e-learning, compositing, 3D architectural design, web interface design, and application development. So, and finally, who speaks to you as the Nova director, my name is Victor, and I'm just honored to have you here. The topics we're going to cover today are a brief about Jorge and the company Atlanta North Studios, their career, his career, and the story about the company, the next generation of virtual production, how will this technology will help your career, what are the skills sets to be an Unreal Engine generalist, and of course, the Masterclass introducing a virtual production project live, something that Jorge has worked on for many weeks, I guess, and he has a huge team in Atlanta just doing this for you guys. So, Stephanie, before we hand it over to Jorge, please give us your introduction.
Sí, bueno, muchas gracias a todos los que nos están acompañando hoy en esta Masterclass en vivo. Estamos muy animados de poder expandirles nuevos conocimientos que redireccionen nuevas oportunidades en el exterior. Y bueno, para continuar, siempre queremos recordarles a cada uno que use el botón que dice Raise Hand para brindarles acceso para que ustedes puedan hablar en vivo, o usen el Q&A para poder escribir sus preguntas. Y bueno, como dijimos, aquí tenemos a Jorge, que ha tenido una trayectoria profesional bastante grande y muy larga, y está en un punto de su vida donde quiere también brindar más conocimiento a jóvenes profesionales que deseen dar un paso extra en su carrera. So, Jorge, please let's start by untitling who you are, what took you to where you are now. It's all yours now.
Hi, I'm Jorge Gaspar. I'm art director at Atlanta North Studios. I've been in the 3D industry for over 20 years now. I worked on several things such as Adult Swim Squidbillies, FX's Archer, Turner Sports, Marvel's Hit Monkey, and now at Atlanta North Studios, I'm working on Love and Respect for Killer Mike. It's a show on PBS here in the States. That's pretty much a little bit about me. About the company, we are a 3D green screen studio. We have multiple green screens here. The one right now I am on is stage 8. This is our Unreal stage. So if you can cut to the clip, Palmer, or the behind the scenes. Okay, so if you can see the screen now. So this is one of the environments I made. So this is shot on this stage I'm sitting in right now. This is what the client wanted, a nighttime shot on a rooftop with the Atlanta skyline for Killer Mike's show. That's Killer Mike and that's Big Boy from Outcast. And we're able to do a 3-camera shoot without any cuts. We have 3 Unreal engines going at once. That gives us the ability to kind of cheat a little bit so they get the angles we want. So everybody's pretty much happy. We can also pre-record the camera animations. If they want to replace the backgrounds, we can later. That's another feature with the green screen and the Unreal backgrounds.
Great, excellent.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to show the other stuff you didn't see when I was talking?
Yeah, of course.
If you can go back to the Netflix one, Palmer. Okay, so as I was saying, this was shot for Netflix here on the same stage. This is all previs, so they can get the raw feed and the placeholder background, so they can change it out later, but they're able to see almost what the final shot's going to look like. All right. Any questions so far, or we can go straight into the demo? All right. So my pipeline is I usually start in 3ds Max. So I put a little green cross there so you could see where 000 is in 3ds Max. And the reason that is important is because we kind of zeroed out our green screen to fit that 000 right where the camera with the talent's going to be standing. So I don't really have to move the environment at all when I place it into Unreal. But usually my pipeline is I like to start with 2D objects and add little vertices and bends to get the kind of shape I want. And then I'll add modifiers such as shells and extrudes, edit polys and unwraps. There are just tools in 3ds Max to get what the kind of look I want. But from just a simple line and a couple of copies of that line, I can make a wall. I can also cut out a hole in that wall with a Boolean. And it's the thing, it's an operation to cut out pretty much holes or add shapes to another object. So you can see here that I am using that to cut that out. So I can make a little window here. There we go.
There are some questions coming, Jorge. Do you want to answer them at the end or in the middle,
Sure.
or do you want to take care of them now?
You can pause it. I can ask questions. I can answer some questions.
Okay, Stephanie, can you help us with the questions, please?
Okay, so we have one from Siva. She's asking, since it is green screen behind the characters and actors, how do you, the people, get re-election of the environment on their faces and eyes?
Usually on the faces and eyes, usually that's like lighting tricks where we can kind of fake that or add that later in post-production.
It says, what's the difference between virtual production with green screens and LED screens?
LED screens. Well, the difference is with the LED screens, they actually have a like projection behind them. So is the raw shot is what you get. There's no compositing in it at all. It's basically Unreal is warping the it's warping the camera lens to fit. So whatever the angle the camera's at, the Unreal background's gonna match. Here is a little different. it's kind of almost the reverse way is I'm going to stand over here, Palmer, if you could switch to 2.
Oh,
So
yeah.
raw feed. Okay, so I'm on a green screen right now. There's nothing behind me, this green. And you can zoom in. Josh. Okay. Now, if you can put in the background now. So now I'm on a virtual background here. And I can move around. This is all live. We actually use a hardware and software from Blackmagic called Ultimate. It's a real-time compositor, and that does all that before we bring that into Unreal. But they're all roles. Like I'm wearing dark clothes right now. You can't really wear anything shiny, green, anything kind of like hot pink, or another one that's really hard. Anything chrome, like my belt.
So you use that software before you send it to Unreal?
Yes, it works with Unreal. You can do this without it. We use the Mosys plugin, and it has a green screen keyer inside the engine. You can use that one, and it works fine. But this one is it's the top tier in our industry.
Oh yeah, we have one from Siva. She's asking, would like to do the virtual production setup at my home for learning. Can you please show us the hardware, which one we should use for a minimum setup, please?
I suggest the best desktop you can find or can afford. You're really going to press in the best video card you can afford, basically. And I've seen setups where they've used vibe trackers from the VR headsets and attached it to cameras. You can pretty much use anything. You can even use a cell phone if you wanted, and kind of jerry rig that or kind of mesh the two together. Or I've seen it where they put just a large screen TV in the background and put the Unreal Engine through that, and just to use just a cell phone that way. And you were able to use Unreal's Live Link and different other kind of softwares to get that to work. So it's possible, but you just need a pretty decent desktop to run this. All right. If we're going back to the demo, I'm just making a quick, simple window frame using a simple line. I extruded it, and I'm going to give it some thickness with the shell modifier. I just have it stick out of the wall. There we go. Give it a little bit of thickness. I'm going to go in a different perspective so I can see the other both sides. I'm going to grab each face on the front and back. Grab all of those. And I'm going to punch a hole in it so we can kind of see through it. There we go. Got a nice frame. I'm going to add some quick post using an edit poly with chamfers and whatnot. And I'm going to extrude the faces up really quickly. And for time's sake, I sped up the footage so you don't have to sit here and watch me for the next 3 hours to do this.
Yeah.
And I have a really quick, simple wall. And I think I'm going to extrude it one more time to make the glass frame. So we have a simple curved wall, just using 3 splines. And now I'm going to use a simple helix shape to make a little curved wall here in the center where I'm going to stick the tree at. And just with an extrude and another shell, I'm able to make a quick, simple wall. Also take that last vertex at the end and connected it to the top. Had a little trouble grabbing that Bezier corner right there. And curve it. So you can make any shape you want in any of the programs. All the programs kind of do similar things. You can do this in Maya, and you can also do this in Blender. And it's about the same workflow. And I'm going to use a slice so I can cut the bottom off so it doesn't intersect with the floor. There we go.
How many years have you been playing with that interface, Jorge?
I started in 2000, thinking Max R2.
Okay.
So it's been a long time. So
yeah, you manage it pretty well.
I've also used Maya and ZBrush, also Cinema 4D a little bit as well, but I've never touched Blender. But I hear it's great. Actually, Palmer here uses it because he's way younger. So,
great.
So, any questions? So that's pretty much part one. This building simple assets to bring into Unreal.
Yeah, we have one from Karen Moreno. He's asking, hi guys, my question is, what are the things I must check before I connect a camera to Unreal? And how is it possible to see what is happening in Unreal with a camera?
There's several ways to do it. There's actually, if you go onto the Unreal Marketplace and you look for Mosys, it's going to be MO-SYS. They have a free plugin there you can play with. I believe it's out for 4.27 of Unreal. I'm not sure if the Unreal 5 version's out yet. That is still in beta. Okay, it is out for 5. Okay, yeah. You should be able to, if you're using Unreal 5, you should be able to download that. It's a free plugin. It uses Live Link. I suggest you look at tutorials. Just search Unreal Live Link, and you should. There should be a lot of different YouTube how-tos on how to connect cameras. You can do it with your phone. Pretty much anything. Vive trackers with Live Link and the Mosys plugin.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could tell you there's a certain way to do it, but really there's like 20 different ways, and each way is different. But definitely you're going to use Live Link inside Unreal and some other plugins, but there's really not one set way. So here I'm opening up the Unwrapping window in 3ds Max. And I am just, you could see that little cylinder curve, and that's the little helix ball I made. You could see it's just a top-down view of it. If we were to apply a texture now, the texture would be warped, and it would just not look right on our objects. So we need to kind of flatten it out, kind of unwrapping a Christmas present. So I just did a simple kind of peel. I peeled the object apart, and I straightened all the lines out. So we get a nice clean texture on our object. And I did it fairly quickly, but that was a pretty simple object to unwrap. All right, that's pretty quick. If you can now do part 3. All right, so if you can pause it, Palmer. Okay, so this is Substance Painter. It's I believe Adobe bought it a couple of years ago. It is a painting software that you paint directly on the Geo. You usually export a FBX file. Those are great because you can pretty much export them out of Max into Maya, into Unreal. So you can pretty much bunny hop softwares if you wanted to. But I brought this one in here. You can hit play. Just adding a simple concrete texture on it. You can pretty much do anything you want in here, get any kind of look. You can use different brushes to kind of distress the texture to kind of give it a more realistic look. And as you paint, you can see it's you kind of know what the end product is going to look like. And once we're done here, we're just going to export some texture files.
Yeah, I think it would be very nice if you can share with us, Jorge, if someone has those skills, have developed those skills using the interface and working with Unreal Engine, how many job openings or opportunities to advance in their careers or to advance in one's career we might have if someone has those skills?
For me, I found out the more softwares you know, the better job opportunities, whether you wanted to do video games or what I do, visual production or cartoons, or if you want to do corporate e-learning. The basics is a good base of modeling in whatever package, whether it be Maya Max or Blender. Then learning the separate softwares like at least Photoshop and Illustrator, learning a little bit of After Effects, then going into the kind of field you want to do. Do you want to learn? You want to be a lighting artist? Do you want to be a texture artist? Do you want to be a character animator? Do you want to rig characters? Do you just want to work with particle systems? You can all get jobs in any 3D industry you want. You just have to kind of pick a lane. What do you want to do? Then to start applying for jobs. So it's just and it's always learning too. Every 1 or 2 years, it's always something new you have to learn. So you just can't just learn one software and say, I'm done, and not learn anything else. It's constant learning. Because I used to use Flash. Nobody uses that anymore. Or Micromedia back in the day. Nobody uses that anymore. Silverlight. There's maybe 20, 30 softwares I used to use that are no longer used. That was previs. We shot here. So that they didn't use that background. That was only like a placeholder. And so we gave them that footage, also the raw green screen footage. Also, if you can, Palmer, I forgot, but the Aaron's one as well. He's going to take a second to bring that up. So that was also some footage for doing those little movements and stuff. So the only thing that's real is her desk and the monitors. Everything else is just the Unreal Engine. And like the other one before, we also gave them just the raw footage, and they're able to replace the background as needed.
Okay. Okay, another question. It says, once the Unreal environment is ready with final lighting, do we require any Unreal artist help at on-set while shooting?
Yes, you do. The reason, so most of the times when we do live shoots, I'm here, and that's just in case. This stuff is really finicky. So anything in the pipeline that will break Unreal. Whether the tracking data is not coming in right, you have to restart the engine. You got to find out where the connection issue is. There's a lot of moving parts in this. So yes, you definitely need a 3D artist here. Or if the client says, hey, we want it nighttime and not daytime, so you're going to need an artist there. Or, we want to shoot on the other side of the environment and you weren't really planning on it.
Oh yeah, it all depends.
So
Yeah.
most definitely, you're going to need them. You might not use them, but it's always good to have them during shoot day.
Yeah. And then the last question is from Paul. He's asking, can you elaborate about compositing different layers of motion content and CGI with live shooting through green screen compositing and using LED screens?
I'm not too familiar with LED screens. Most of my work has been on the green screen here. But if I'm going to go to camera 2, Palmer. So if you could do the raw feed there. Okay. So it's kind of hard to explain, but this kind of works for our workflow. If Josh can come out and move the camera. So right now, can you make it look up at the ceiling? No? Okay, so if you can see our setup up here, and if you see those little dots up there, those are tracking dots. Mm-hmm. And what that does is yep, you can zoom in there. Those are tracking dots. You want to lower the camera now because it's beeping. So we have tracking hardware on the cameras that are looking for those little dots so they know where the camera is at all times. So what we do is we take that information and bring it into Unreal and tell it to use that information in an Unreal camera. So we kind of get a one-to-one. So we're using Fuji 4K cameras here. So Unreal knows it's a Fuji 4K camera and it's sitting at 20, 30 in 100 centimeters on the x-axis. So it knows all the position of the camera. And it also brings in the, if you can switch to 2 Unreal feed. So it knows the location in Unreal.
So those dots is hardware that is going to be connected to the camera, the 4K camera.
Yes, there's stickers up there. So there's a little box on top of our cameras that are this like kind of a little laser lights that are looking for those dots, so it knows where the location of the camera is.
Okay.
Got it.
And it's constantly feeding that information into Unreal. Now the fun part is exporting, and what I like to use is software called DataSmith. And what DataSmith does is allows 3ds Max to export the entire scene over to Unreal. This is a great help, so you don't have to keep bringing in object to object, the several items separately. This does it all at one time. Mm-hmm. And if you pause it, Palmer, and you go back to the start of that. All right, so this is Unreal 4.2.6 currently. Like I said earlier, we do have Unreal 5, but the software we use is still in beta and it's not production ready yet. So we're still in the testing phase. So what I like to do is create a new project, and I'm going to use film, television, and live events template. And I'm going to use the visual production template next to that. And I'm just going to call it demo project. And we're going to create a simple project. And I sped that way up. If I was doing this in real time, it would be about 10 minutes waiting to.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you can pause this, Palmer. So once we get our Unreal scene up, we want to use a couple of different plugins. The Mosys one I said earlier, it's Mo-sys. We use the production plugin. It's not the free version. And we also use the Live Link plugin, as well as the DataSmith plugin and a couple of others, but those are the 3 main ones we use. So you can hit play, Palmer. And I'm just going to make an empty level so I can bring in my DataSmith information.
Okay.
But this, in real time, you would have to restart Unreal several times to get everything working. Every time you initiate a plugin, you would have to restart the engine. So I kind of just cut all that out so you don't have to sit here and wait. So I'm going to bring in my DataSmith information. I'm just going to look where I put that on my computer. And there we go. And I'm going to make a folder, call it DataSmith, so I know where I put those files at. And I just want the geometry. I don't want anything else. DataSmith can bring in lights, cameras if you want. I typically don't do that. I just like to work with the geometry, and the lights and cameras I usually use just in Unreal. I use Unreal's lights and cameras. So I'm going to stick a quick direct light in here and in an A-star backdrop. Here is this emissive light. And I'm going to zoom in so we can get, you can see that there's a scene that I made in 3ds Max.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions so far?
Yeah, Alejandro Fierros is asking, I always use game project on Unreal Engine because I think it has all features. What will be the difference between game and studio?
The game one we don't really need. We don't need the character template that's in there. We don't need some of the blueprint information. We do use blueprints, but not a lot of them. There's just some game mechanic stuff that in that template we just don't need. It just makes the file heavy. So you can use it, but it's just a lot of files you're loading up for no reason for this workflow. And the visual production one has the some extra templates in there that helps out if you want to add a video wall, or you're trying to do live links with vibe trackers and stuff like that. It initiates them with that template. And you don't really get that with the game one. All right, so I'm quickly just going to add some quick textures here. I preloaded some textures that I got from the Unreal Marketplace. There's several free items you can download from there that will help your scene like come to life. They have geometry, characters, textures. Some those are going to cost some money, but other ones they have free. And I also going to add the substance texture I made, and I can apply that to our scene as well. And I also add a glass material to our window. And we are done with that. And there's some extra set dressings. I'm going to add like a tree and some vines on the wall as well. So there we
Jorge,
go. There's quick.
How important is it to be very organized on projects, on Unreal projects, to pass it to other
well, it doesn't matter which 3D program you use, whether it's Unreal, Maya Max, Blender. You have to be very organized. I am very messy, and I'm not going to lie, but I do clean up my files. Naming conventions really help, especially if you're working with other people. They're not going to know what object 3, 5, 4, 5, 7 is. You know, they don't know what layer 1 is. So you have to name your items. You have to be consistent, especially with textures. Don't name something white JPEG or window JPEG. You know, you're going to have to, because everybody else is going to make a white JPEG and one's going to overwrite the other one. So it just screws everything up. So, you know, Cleanliness is really good no matter what 3D program, software, or basically any digital software you use. You have to be very clean, especially in a team environment. Now, if you're at home just playing around, you do you, but especially at work, name your stuff.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good advice. Okay.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Now, right here, I'm just playing with the lighting. I just dropped in a direct light, and we can change the intensity. We can change the temperature, which is basically kind of the color of the light, to like a warmer tone to it. We can change the time of day, pretty much anything in here. And this is all in with movable objects. So on the fly, on day of shoot, they don't like the way the sun is pointing. We can change it and not, spend another hour, rebaking or going back into 3D, the other 3D programs and fixing something. With Unreal, we're able to change the lighting pretty easily without having a lot of wait time.
Okay.
All right. And I add some extra objects like this tree. I downloaded this also from the Unreal Marketplace, just to give it, and it has some built-in animation on it, so you can kind of see where the leaves move. And move that down, and I'm going to add this other extra asset here. I think little vines, just to give some life to the scene. And this is just a simple, basic scene. Just to show these 3D scenes could be super detailed. Some took me a month to make, some a day. It all depends on the shoot or what the client asked for. But this one was just something I kind of did for fun for this, and made it quick and simple.
Luis Miguel, normally how short are the deadlines, like the examples from before?
They can range anywhere from 3 months to 2 days. And I'm not joking. Sometimes I've had half a day to do something and kind of bashed it together, and it worked. It didn't look pretty, but it worked. But usually it's going to be the shorter versions. But the average is about a week. I'm lucky to get a month.
The average is about a week.
Tight.
It's what the clients or is what the pipeline requests.
Well, the clients will come in and say, "Hey, we want this, but we don't know what we want." Then it's kind of back and forth. Do you want something that kind of looks like the Apple stage, or do you want something that's flashy like ESPN, or I just want a talk show setting? Sometimes the client's fickle with that, so you go back and forth, and that kind of takes a couple of days. Then they finally pick one. Then you have 2 days left to build it. So it depends on how fast. Or luckily, we do build some templates here, so we'll give them like 10 to pick from if they want to use one of those. Or sometimes they bring in their own 3D environments, and we have to clean them up to get them to run into Unreal Engine. So it's really varies, but average is about a week. But if it's a super big project, a month.
Do you sell services in Latin America, Jorge?
Here we usually do live footage shoots. So it's pretty much, if you come to Atlanta, we can shoot anything you want. In Latin America, we're looking to do remote green screen footage. So basically, if you're anywhere in the world, we can composite you into the Unreal Engine. But we're still currently working on that, but hopefully soon.
Okay, but you require that the local people have the green screen that they're shooting.
Yes. We only have the Atlanta studio currently.
Okay, good. And for someone that might be watching you and trying to get in contact with North studios? On a small project, what would be the budget for that?
That is a hard question. That really varies. Some shoots, like right now, Palmer and Josh is here with me at the studio. They were nice enough to stay late. So the basic bare bones, it takes about 5 people to run it. Bigger shoots, there could be 50 people here.
Wow.
And it varies from somebody running the camera operators, lighting, people, makeup artists, somebody running the teleprompter, somebody running the board, somebody running the different audio feeds, somebody to hook you up with the microphones, somebody running, if we're having Zoom feeds in, somebody running the laptop. You know, it really varies. So you would have to call us first, see what you want. Yeah.
And another question from Alejandro, I'm sorry. How much does a digital Unreal Engine studio cost?
Oh, it all depends. Probably, I'm going to say Steve, the owner here, probably spent about $1 million with all the equipment, maybe more. I know these. Yeah, it's going to be more. Palmer said more.
Palmer, yeah, Palmer's saying more. Yeah.
Okay, Josh said $3 million for our studio setup.
Wow.
Well, 3 million, guys. 3 million you have to have in your pockets. But
like I said before, you can do this with a 5-tracker and a cell phone. Okay, so I'm just going to walk over here to stage the second camera. And we've already kind of showed this before, but you can see here, this is actually the live screen of, this is not in play. If you stop it, Josh, so this is actually what Unreal Viewport looks like. You can see the little green boxes around those. Those are garbage mats. So if I walk over here, and if you hit play, if I walk out there, you can kind of see I'm transparent now.
Mm-hmm.
Those are garbage mats that we use. Sometimes we have monitors out here or something that the camera doesn't want to see. We can use garbage mats inside Unreal to kind of hide stuff. If you want, Josh, if it's not too much trouble, if you can just load up another level, just your pick. He's going to stop this here. We're using our main stage project, so we have a bunch of different levels we can load up on the fly. Okay, so you can see this is our Unreal Engine Live, and Josh is going to load up a separate, but he's going to load that up right now. Oh, okay, that's the one from, we had a music video shoot here last week. I think this is the environment from that. So he's just moving the Mosys camera around, the Unreal camera, sorry. You can see there's the environment, and it only kind of looks, they only needed one angle, so we didn't need to build a whole world out. It's just, you just kind of needed that camera angle there. So if I stand here, it looks like I'm in space, and
nice.
Have also animation in the background.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so now we kind of brighten up the light here so you can actually see the shadow working.
Yeah.
But shadow on the floor. It's real time.
So that's a virtual shadow, right?
Yes, virtual shadow.
Okay.
So if we go to the live feed.
Les voy a dar unos comentarios en español y luego vamos a cerrar en inglés con Jorge. Unreal Engine definitivamente que es un paso obligado y necesario para todas las empresas y todos los profesionales y todos los talentosos emprendedores en Latinoamérica que quieren llegar a tener tecnologías de punta que puedan diferenciarse en el mercado. Como les mencioné, el 10 de diciembre arranca una certificación en Unreal con profesores en castellano los días sábados en la mañana de Latinoamérica para aquellos que quieren desarrollarse y terminar de estudiar estas habilidades. Lo que necesitas es ser un texturizador y un modelador. En Nova estamos muy complacidos y muy emocionados de seguir compartiendo y promoviendo el desarrollo de talento y agradecemos a Jorge y a su equipo por todo el esfuerzo que ha hecho y su participación y la forma como ha contestado más de 30 preguntas en este evento. So, Jorge, we thank you very much for your effort.
I'd like to thank Josh. Come out here for a second. Yeah, have Josh come out, and Palmer.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yes, please.
Please. Yeah. So these are the guys. All this stuff takes a lot of people to do. So this is Palmer. He does the audio and he was running the boards for me. And this is Josh. He's the technical artist here. This is not a one-man thing. It takes a lot of time and effort, a lot of manpower to do all this stuff. So thank you guys.